Hey everybody, Retro Gaming Guy here. Today I'm going to show you guys around this MRA Nintendo Switch and Switch Lite Gamepad controller. So we're going to dive in here. I'm going to show you guys all the different functions and features that this particular gamepad controller has to offer. And then we're going to dive in and fully test this out with a racing game on the Nintendo Switch. So let's dive into it. Alright, so here we have the MRA Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Lite 5-in-1 wireless controller. And before we jump into all the functions and features and layout of this particular controller, I first want to mention that what really sets this apart from the rest of Nintendo Switch and Switch Lite controllers is the fact that you can use this on other types of devices. You're not only able to use this on Nintendo Switch and Switch Lite, you can use this on PCs, you can use this on PlayStation 3 consoles, and Android devices. So the fact that you can use it on these different devices is definitely a plus. A lot of controllers like this are only usable on Switch and Switch Lite. So this definitely makes this stand apart from the rest. So in terms of the layout here, really nice layout. Love controllers that have this sculpted sort of feel, but they aren't anything like the Joy-Cons. You know, some people like Joy-Cons. I happen to not be a big fan of those types of controllers. I like this kind right here. I like something that's a little bit more substantial, a little bit more custom fitted to my hands, just a little bit more comfortable in my opinion. And I have to say, this is super light. Definitely the lightest controller I've used, aside from like a Super Nintendo controller, obviously, which is much smaller, but I love the fact that this is so light. I mean, I can't give you an exact weight on this, but it is extremely light. A lot of controllers like this have a decent amount of weight to them. I think of like a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox controller, definitely at least 4 times as heavy as this particular controller right here. Just really impressed by that. I like lightweight controllers, obviously, but I don't want to give up size when going with those lightweight controllers. So I think this is great. So now in terms of the control layout here, very typical A, B, X, and Y, as most Switch controllers will have, or all Switch controllers will have. Dual analog sticks with the button function in here. So really nice click, nice action. Now these seem to be really precise, really nice slide to them and movement. Definitely look forward to testing these out. I'll probably jump into a racing game. That's typically what I like to try out new controllers with, because I find that you're using these analog sticks quite a bit, obviously, to navigate your way through the games, and you can really test out their performance. D-pad is really nice. If you've seen my review videos in the past, you know I always go to the diagonal movements here just to test out the feel of them. And here, really nice feel. Up here we have our L and R, and then of course our trigger buttons. Triggers are going to be hinged. Didn't used to be a fan of hinged triggers, but they've certainly grown on me since the PS5. Anything that has a PS5 sort of feel to it definitely will make me into a fan, and that's exactly what we have here. Really nice movement. You don't have to strain to engage this. It just, you know, even just grazing it gives you great action on there. So I really like that. Like the way that it feels in my hands too. Really just lines up perfectly with my fingertips up there. Now for the plus and minus, love the fact that we have a full-size button behind there. It's not just the plus and minus button itself. I find that the typical ones are a little bit hard to press, or you have to be just super precise to hit those. This being that they're on a much larger button, it's just easy to hit those. Obviously we have our home button here, we have our circle button in the center, this will be our pairing button, and then we have turbo down here as well. So very much the same functions and features as a typical Switch controller, but all in all, it seems to be really promising so far. So we're going to test this out. We're going to jump in and we're going to play a Nintendo Switch game. We're going to go into a racing game. So I think we'll do Cruisin' Blast. It's my favorite racing game currently for the Nintendo Switch. And that'll be a great way to gauge the performance of this. So let's dive into it. Alright guys, so we jumped in here and we tested out this MRA controller with Cruisin' Blast for the Nintendo Switch. This is my favorite racing game, may even be my favorite game, period, for the Nintendo Switch. And the performance of this controller is exceptional. Analog sticks work extremely well on here, very precise. Your movement is just on point. Love the trigger buttons on here as well. I'm using those to get power-up speed boosts as I drift. That's a key component to this game, and really is going to give you the best results if you can hit them at the right times and get rid of your competition in the process. So everything ran extremely well. Buttons function beautifully, but what really sets this apart, I said this early on, I'll say it again, is the fact that you can use this particular controller with other setups, other devices. You're not only able to use this on the Nintendo Switch and the Switch Lite, you can use this on Android devices, different consoles, PCs, all that good stuff. So it gives you the ability to switch it up a little bit when using this MRA controller. I also have to say that this is extremely light. I said this in the beginning of this video when I talked about the layout and functions and features of this controller, but it's definitely light, and it's definitely the lightest controller I've used when talking about controllers of this size. Obviously smaller controllers are going to weigh less, but for a full-size controller like this that has that great sort of chunky feel to it, which I say that in a positive way because that's exactly what I prefer in our gamepad controllers like this. Usually you get a lot of weight to them. They kind of become clunky and cumbersome. This is extremely light, so it's easy to hold. I think for kids it's going to be great. I have little kids myself. They play the Switch, and I think that the weight to the controllers that I typically use, because I've said this before, I'm not typically a Joy-Con fan, so I have bigger, clunkier controllers. They drop them a lot because they weigh so much. This particular one, again, super lightweight, so I think it's just going to be an absolute must-have for the smaller Switch gamer that's looking for that lightweight sort of feel to their controller. So that is pretty much everything that I have to say about this controller, but again, I give it 2 thumbs up. If I had more thumbs to give, I would give them. It's just a great controller. Link in the description of this video if you want to check this controller out for yourself, get some more information on it, all that good stuff. Drop down to the description for all that good stuff, but that's going to do it for this video. You know the drill. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop for everything Retro Gaming Guy here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys real soon.